In what can only be described as one of the most confounding moves of the NBA offseason, the Milwaukee Bucks stunned the basketball world by signing Myles Turner to a massive 4-year, $107 million contract. A deal that not only meant the end of Brook Lopez's impactful tenure as Giannis Antetokounmpo's ideal frontcourt partner, but also triggered a deeply controversial financial maneuver, waiving and stretching Damian Lillard's contract into dead money that will haunt the Bucks books for the next 5 years, costing them $22.5 million annually and eliminating any chance of maintaining Lillard's elite offensive production at point guard, all in the name of signing a player who, while defensively solid and capable of hitting threes in ideal lineups, doesn't generate offense for himself and struggled significantly without an elite playmaker like Tyrese Halliburton beside him, shooting just 29.9% from deep without Halliburton on the court and proving ineffective in key moments of Indiana's improbable finals run, often benched or outmatched in critical matchups against premier bigs like Karl-Anthony Towns and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And though ESPN's Shams Charania reported Giannis had endorsed the Turner move, other sources, including Chris Haynes, revealed the reigning MVP was not pleased with Lillard's departure, understanding full well that this decision stripped the Bucks of flexibility, firepower, and future stability, replacing a Hall of Fame floor general with a player whose value is heavily dependent on system, chemistry, and the presence of a creative engine, none of which the Bucks currently possess. And while the front office tried to paint a picture of control by re-signing role players like Bobby Portis, Taurean Prince, Kevin Porter Jr., and Gary Trent Jr. to modest, option-laden deals, these acquisitions were made under the assumption that Lillard would be running the show, not that his absence would create a strategic vacuum at the most important offensive position, turning what could have been a shrewd offseason into a series of increasingly desperate moves that, despite seeming bold, in reality scream disjointed panic from a franchise still searching for clarity since winning the title in 2021 and having won just one playoff series since, clearly losing ground to rising Eastern Conference contenders like Cleveland, New York, Orlando, and even resurgent teams like Atlanta, Detroit, and Philadelphia, all of whom boast younger cores, better depth, and in some cases more cap flexibility and developmental momentum, while Milwaukee clings to a declining core, aging stars, and a superstar whose patience and loyalty may soon reach a breaking point, especially when watching his championship window close as the team chooses bloated contracts over balance and compatibility, with Turner's fit next to Giannis already raising questions. Who will run the pick and roll with him? Porter Jr., Trent Jr., Kuzma? None of them provide the floor generalship that Lillard did, and without that stabilizing force, the Bucks may find themselves not just slipping out of title contention, but desperately clawing just to avoid the play-in tournament, their identity unraveling faster than their cap sheet can keep up. And while Indiana is being lightly roasted for letting Turner walk after a finals run, that criticism ignores the hard reality of Halliburton's devastating Achilles injury and the clear pivot to a rebuild, where paying Turner into his 30s made little sense without a co-star to elevate his game, especially given his declining effectiveness against elite playoff opponents and shaky perimeter defense when forced into isolation, which makes Milwaukee's gamble even more mind-boggling when viewed from a macro perspective. They gave up a top-tier scorer and elite pick-and-roll maestro in Lillard for a system-dependent big who, without Halliburton, is a mediocre shooter and limited creator. And worse, the move wasn't even executed cleanly. The Bucks could have pursued veteran options like Al Horford or DeAndre Ayton with their non-taxpayer mid-level exception had they retained Lillard, preserving both flexibility and core chemistry while bolstering the front court. But instead, they torched the roster structure, ignored their own best paths to contention, and now face the grim reality of paying Turner premium money while Lillard's dead cap lingers like a ghost through Giannis's prime and beyond. An all-in fire drill executed after the house had already burned down, with the front office scrambling for cover behind headline-grabbing moves that amount to more sizzle than steak.
And while fans may be angry hearing this, the truth is unavoidable. The Bucks are regressing while pretending they're evolving, chasing short-term band-aids for long-term wounds. And unless a miracle occurs or another superstar forces his way to Milwaukee, the Giannis era may soon come to a painful, premature end. And if he requests a trade, which now feels more inevitable than ever, the $22.5 million in dead cap they owe to a waived Hall of Famer will stand as a permanent monument to one of the most avoidable and costly mistakes in recent NBA history.